Hi friends, I'm Jocelyn Peters. I'm the maker behind Mountain Song Designs, and welcome to this episode. Today I'll be talking about a design I have coming out, some knitting projects that I have finished up recently or cast on, or some WIPs that are old and I have stashed away and I rediscovered them. I'll end with a book review of a book that I finished and I just adore it. I can't wait to talk to you about it. So let's get started. All right, first, this design that I am working on, it's in test knitting right now, it's going so well, is my Bagel Man market bag. Here we go. It's perfect for farmers market season, which is coming up very soon. The weather's getting lovely here. I hope it is where you are as well. But this is a bag that I love taking a bag with me to the farmers market. And I love getting bagels from the Bagel Man when I'm there. So I thought this was perfect. And these stripes, they look like little bagels. So this is my bag that's coming out. It will be out May 4th is when it's coming out. Now, I don't know about you, but I love no fuss knits. I want something that's easy, simple. I prefer not to seam if I don't have to. I'll pick up stitches, but I just want to get it done. I want it to be efficient. And that's what this bag is. I wanted something that would be well constructed, with as little fuss as possible and as little picking up stitches, as little seaming as possible. And this only has one graft. It's the only place that there's any kind of sewing. It's a little bit of a graft at the very end, and that's it. So this, like I said, the Bagel Man market bag, lovely bottom here. I do have a piece of cardboard in the bottom. You can put a piece of cardboard or plastic in the bottom to make it nice and sturdy, or just go without. Whatever you prefer, it's totally fine. And you can just throw it in your car or have it next to your door so it's ready to go with you the next time you go to the market. So look for information about that coming soon. Now, if you are not subscribed to my Substack, that's the best place to find out about new designs coming out and discount coupons and that kind of information. So be sure to head over to Substack and check out Mountain Song Designs there. If you just put in your email address, anytime I send out a newsletter, which tends to be once a week, you'll get that sent straight to your inbox, so you don't have to go back to Substack whenever you want to try to see if there's a new newsletter. It's emailed to you. It's very simple, and it's something I really enjoy doing too. I enjoy writing, so it's been fun for me. So there's my Bagel Man market bag. It's coming out in just about a week and a half. It'll be available on Ravelry and Etsy. Follow me on Substack to get that discount. I'm also on Instagram. I'll make sure you know when there's a post and when it debuts. If you want to get your yarn ready, you need 4 balls of Peaches and Cream worsted weight cotton yarn and 1 for a complementary color. So 4 for the main and 1 for complementary. You may even have it in your stash already. You can get a little creative with color if you want, or just use the main color. I really enjoyed making this, and the Peaches and Cream is a nice sturdy cotton yarn, so it'll be a bag that'll get you through for a really long time. So that's that, and keep your eyes open on those different places. I'll have links in the description to make sure that you can find all of those. So let's move on to finished objects. All right, the first finished object I'm going to share with you are my socks. These are my Fade into Neverland socks. I made these just for fun with stash yarn that I've been looking at for a long time and kind of wondering how I was going to put it together. It's Lolodidit plush sock in Walkers and Blood. It came together, and I got it a long time ago, years ago. But it's really fun, and this is my Fade into Neverland sock pattern that I came out with about a month and a half ago. It's on Ravelry and Etsy. Also, Ravelry, I'm Jocelyn Peters Designs. Etsy, I'm MTN Song Designs. So you'll find those there. It's such a fun knit. It's toe up with a really cool heel. It fits just like a heel flap and gusset. And I am really looking forward to finishing or to wearing these. Now I finished them this past weekend when I was with my friends. If you read my Substack post about a week and a half ago, you read about it, and I'll talk more about it toward the end of this episode. But the other finished object is the one I'm wearing, and I wore this past weekend at our gathering. This is the Calliope. It is by Melissa Clulow, Espace Tricot, I think is how you say the company's name. And I'm so happy with how this turned out. Here we go. Now I made some modifications. If you're interested in those and in the yarn and all of that, check out episode 4. On here, I went into all of those details, but it's an Outlander inspired theme with the colorways Lolodidit yarn, and I really enjoyed making this sweater. It was low fuss, easy to follow along, easy fit. I did make it about an inch longer in the body. It was a little short for my preference, but I really like how it ended up fitting, so I'm really happy with it. So those are my 2 FOs. Now I have been knitting more since the last time I saw you, but it's designs that I have been working through, and I've been really enjoying the process, but I'm not quite ready to share it, but I will hopefully soon. So that's it for my finished knits, and I will move on to WIPs. Okay, the first WIP I'm going to share with you is one that I just cast on today. I decided that I need a quick baby gift for a friend, and so I cast on my hat. This is my Fairlea Hat in an acrylic yarn. It's something I bought at Michael's a couple years ago when I needed another baby hat. It's worsted weight, it's speckled. It's a fun speckle, and it is acrylic, so it's going to be easy wear. Oh, and look at this. Can you see that charm? Maybe. That is from Simply Serving on Etsy. Lindsay, she makes such lovely stitch markers. My Outlander wooden stitch marker was by her. Most of my fancy stitch markers are Simply Serving stitch markers because they're really well made and they're cute and I really enjoy them. This one is the Lady of Shalott. It's a cameo, and the mom that this is going to, she is like me and loves Anne of Green Gables, and I have part of Lady of Shalott memorized because of Anne of Green Gables. There she weaves by night and day a magic web with colors gay, for she has heard a whisper say, a curse is on her if she stay to look down on Camelot. I've loved it since I was very young, and so it makes me happy to have my theme, something that's meaningful. It brings joy to me. So I'm working on this hat. Like I said, it's my Fairlea Hat. It just came out. Here's the fingering weight version and a knit palm. I will probably make one with this yarn as well, because who doesn't want a knit palm to go on their hat? And then she can use it or use it as a ball, whatever she wants to with her little boy. So that is my recent cast on. The next ones that I'm getting to are ones that I just dug out. Do you have any WIPs that get sort of abandoned and left alone for way too long? Well, that's what these are. So I'm going to get those out and I'll share those in just a moment. Okay, this WIP is the one that I actually talked about last time, and it put me in mind to get it back out. It has been living for way too long in my Anne of Green Gables bag. I made this a long time ago. I'm a fan. The pattern is in a magnetic folder. It's Knitter's Pride. I use this folder when I have a complicated pattern, particularly with complicated charts, when I need to keep them organized and keep track of where I am and be able to see the row when I've printed it out. Some charts, like in this pattern, really are just too big to try to manage on a tablet, at least for me, in my opinion. And this makes it easier to manage. It's right there. I can shift through all of the pages in the pattern and find what I need. And that is what the pattern is living in. Let me show you. This is called the Shetland Stars Shawl. Now, I told you last time that it was in Outlander, when Claire, after she gets married, she wears it in the scene, and this is the rectangular version. Let me show this to you. So I'm doing the easy version, and I'm pretty sure it's going to take forever, and that's okay because it's Shetland lace, so it's a Scottish lace, traditional Scottish lace. And when I looked this up, I actually found a video on YouTube that showed ladies in Shetland knitting lace, and these ladies knit like over 200 stitches per minute. It's incredible, and if you haven't seen it, you should look it up. I'm sure you'll be able to find it. It's impressive. I don't think I could knit this lace that fast. At this point, I'm hoping for 2 rows a day. I think if I do that 5 days a week, maybe, it should be manageable. I have this. The red, you'll see red here twice. One is the cord from the size 0 needles, and the other is the provisional cast on. I really wanted to be able to see this when I go back in because this is hard to see. This is 15 rows of lace, and I have about an inch. And this shawl is 86 inches long. So this is a long-term whip. But you know what? If you don't do a little bit, you don't ever get it done. So a little bit a day is better than none a day, or even a little bit a week. Even if I did 2 a week, I'll get it done faster than if I don't do any. So I'm on the journey, and it's okay if it takes me a long time. I enjoy traditional arts. I mean, I'm a knitter, but I think it's really neat to try new types of traditional techniques. So that is the Shetland Stars Shawl, and it's by Terry Dresbach from A Passion for Lace. Like I said last time, she found a picture of the original vintage, like over 100-year-old shawl, and designed both the square and rectangular version of this. Now, I noticed that in her notes, you're not allowed to sell what you make from this pattern, which of course is perfectly fine. I don't know who would sell this when they're done with it. I suppose there are people who would, but as much time as this is going to take me, I don't think I could part with it for any amount of money. I don't think I could. So I of course respect her wishes. It won't be an issue in my case because when I finish it, I will cherish this and never give it away. So that is the Shetland Stars Shawl. My next deep whip that I started, it was about a year and a half ago, is another lace shawl. Not as complicated. It is lace weight yarn. but it is much smaller and easier to see the yarn. It is called Naomh by Renee Leverington of Goddess Knits. Hi, this is Later Me to let you know a couple of things. First, I forgot this was an Irish name, so it's pronounced Naomh. And also, it looks like you can't buy this pattern right now, as the Goddess Knit shop is not currently operating. I hope she will reopen because her patterns are lovely. Here is a picture of it. Sorry, my page is rumpled. It's been in the project bag, so I wouldn't lose it. But yeah, it's a lovely shawl. Here's what I have so far. Let me get this out. Here we go. So it's lace and it's beaded. I have these pretty little beads. Hard to see, sorry. But this is in Madelinetosh Prairie yarn in the colorway Envy. So it's this lovely greens and blues. It's very pretty. It's very soft. It's a singles yarn. So it's also kind of squishy. But I'm looking forward to finishing this, and I need to finish it. It's been on the list. I finished many WIPs last year, and I think I'll talk about that next time because I did it a very specific way and it worked really well for me, so it might work for you. So I'll talk about that next time. But in the meantime, I will be working on this. Again, it's the Naomh shawl, so very lovely. All right, and only one more. I'll pause to get it out. It's kind of big. Okay, final deep WIP. I've been working on this for probably 2 or 3 years. It's a blanket. It's really big. I don't think I have that much more left to knit. I could probably stop. I probably have a couple more feet to go. But it's Garter Squish by Stephen West. So it's two strands of worsted held together. I went with Mountaineer colors, so blue and gold. I had it in my stash. I am using Caron 1 pound. So far I've used most of a skein. I have about that much left of the first skein, and I'll probably jump into the second one for each of the colors. It's kind of a basic pattern, but it's easy to knit. I just haven't gotten it out. And it's at the point where it's warm. Like if I just knit on it, I can stay warm and cozy under it. So that's the best part of knitting a blanket, is that when you're using it, when you're knitting it, you're also using it. So I'm going to be getting back to that. It may be a free pattern. I've had it for a while, so I don't remember, but it is one to check out. In the pattern, they just use scraps of worsted weight yarn. I wanted to go ahead with the same 2 colors and use those together. So there's a lot of flexibility with it. And you know, it's pretty easy to make it bigger or longer or smaller, whatever fits your preference. For me, I'm not sure that my gauge is perfect, but it's a blanket and it's just fine for me. So that is another thing I will be working on. I don't have a goal for getting it done, but I think if I work on it consistently, it'll get done when it gets done, and that's just fine. So I think that is it for my knitting, and let's get to the book. All right, I'd like to share with you about a book that I read last weekend called Waypoints by Sam Heughan. Now, before I get to this, I want to share with you the fact that this book was part of a lovely weekend that I had last weekend. The book was wonderful, but so was the rest of my weekend. I got to meet my friends for the first time in person. And if you read my Substack post about it, you know all about it. And if you were there, you really know all about it. I have had the privilege of getting to know a group of women over the last 3 years or so. who are knitters and are all really, really great people. We've gotten to know each other through Zoom and through online chatting. And we got to meet for the first time last weekend. So that was such a wonderful experience. Also, it took place in my alma mater town, so I got to go back and see the campus, and I got to see my old choir director, who I had every semester that I was there, and some friends. I ran into some friends. It was just a wonderful weekend and very fulfilling. You know, you need to fill your tank, and that filled it for me. It was great. And this book sandwiched it so nicely because I listened to it on my way there and on my way back. It was the perfect time. And this book, if you have the chance to read it, you really should. The audiobook is read by Sam Heughan himself. So you get to hear his voice. And I don't know if you've noticed, but I like Outlander. So it was neat to get to know someone who I've gotten to know through a screen also. Of course, it's his character and not him himself, but it's a personal dive into his life. It tells the story. It tells two stories. It tells first the story of his trip, a hiking trip, in Scotland along the West Highlands Trail. I believe it is from Glasgow to Fort William. And I love a good hiking story. I think they're great. They are always, not always, they are often inspirational. And I get to live vicariously through these people, through their ups and their downs. And I enjoy a good hiking story. You get to meet the people that he met, eat the food that he ate, and go through the challenges that go along with such a physical challenge. So that was a fun part of the story. Interspersed through his, recollections of the hike, he tells his memoir. He tells his story from when he was a child, a very young child, up through present time, focusing mainly on career, family, school, various experiences. And it's told so well. The writing is wonderful, and told through his own voice. I think that's the best way to read a book by someone, is to hear it in their own words. I think storytelling and listening to stories is something that's deeply a part of human experience. And it's a great storytelling experience, at least from my perspective. I hope that if you have the chance to, you will try it out too. Check out Waypoints by Sam Heughan. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I really hope that you do too. So that's it for me today. I have shared all my knitting. I've shared a book. I've shared my wonderful weekend. And that's it. If you would like to find more about Mountain Song Designs on the internet, I'll have all the links in the description, but I am on Instagram as Mountain Song Designs. I am on Substack as Mountain Song Designs. I am on Etsy as MTN Song Designs, and on Ravelry as Jocelyn Peters Designs. I hope you will join me there. Also, make sure that you like and subscribe. If you have any comments, I love to hear them. And I wish you a wonderful, wonderful day. Slán Siva and happy knitting. Bye.
Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads.